Welcome back, young scholars. I hope that your research project is going well, that you have chosen a topic that is relevant, interesting to you, and that you're going out and finding some quality sources, reading up, building your background knowledge. And I hope that you're enjoying this because you did pick a topic that should be important to you or interesting to you, so that you go out and when you're finding your sources and reading them, you enjoy the process. Very important. And while we're talking about that, let's talk a little bit about your sources and finding credible sources, finding a variety of sources. The larger variety of sources that you can include evidence from in your research, it's going to strengthen your research and show that you have looked in different places to build your background knowledge and become an expert on your topic. So be sure to use evidence from multiple types of resources or online sources. Some places to find evidence would obviously be well-respected newspapers like the Washington Post or the New York Times or the San Diego Union Tribune. Also, you should try to use some scholarly journals. I gave you a lot of resources through our library. You should use scholarly journal websites or composite websites like JSTOR or EBSCOhost. You should also be looking for some podcasts on your topic. Perhaps TED Talks exist relevant to your topic. Perhaps you can find some infographics. Perhaps you could even find some art or a relevant movie or documentary, or even a fictional movie or book has been written on your topic. We often forget books as sources these days, but back in my day, if you wanted to learn about a topic, you had to go out and check out a big book and at least skim through that book and read the more relevant sections to your topic. So use a variety of sources. Finally, a little real life story for you about why these skills are important. On your screen now, you're seeing a screenshot from my cell phone. I tried to take out the names, but as you could see, I was having a little chat with a friend of mine named Kim. And we were talking about vaccinations and if the vaccine becomes available. Kim is a teacher as well. So when the vaccine becomes available for teachers, we were talking about should we take the vaccine or not? I am one in this discussion, an important discussion, that if the vaccine becomes available to me, my instinct is to take it. I'm not worried about the health, but Kim, understandably, a little bit more worried about the health, the effectiveness of that vaccine. So here you can see the end of one of our conversations, or just a small chunk of a conversation that we had through text. And this is me at the top here asking a question about why she might not want to take the vaccine. Said, are they not effective at stopping the spread? Have you read that somewhere? So first, this top article, kind of relevant to earlier part, just about lifting the stay-at-home order. But then she sent me this link down here to a website, which I will pull up for you in just a moment. And then she said, I think in the trials it was moderate reduction of symptoms, but no difference in infection. But I haven't done my full due diligence, honestly, so I could be wrong. I like that about Kim. She's always willing to admit if she is wrong or if she hasn't done her proper research. So me, being a teacher, I obviously clicked that link, which brought me to this article. This website looks great, right? It looks very professional. It's called The Vaccine Reaction, an enlightened conversation about vaccination, health, and autonomy. We've got publication dates. We've got references to Fauci, the World Health Organization, etc. So I read this article, and this article does make some claims that I questioned. Is that's really the main idea, I guess you could say, is that even if you get the vaccine, it's not going to prevent you from transmitting that disease. And it claims that there is no evidence that if you get the vaccine, you could not transmit the virus. I was skeptical of that because most vaccines throughout the history of vaccines, if you get that vaccine, even if you get some mild symptoms of that illness or disease, it makes it at least less likely that you'll transmit the disease. So I don't want to get too into COVID talk, all that kind of stuff. But my point is, this article reads very professional. It's got evidence. It's quoting doctors like right here, Dr. Swaminathan, and it appears to be very to give some good research, some good data, etc. And so I read it carefully. I had a couple. I did read it with a critical eye because it goes against what my gut tells me, and honestly, because I read almost anything, especially anything about COVID, with a critical eye, as you should as well. But to shorten this up a little bit, I did a little research about this website. So I pulled up their own About Us. And here you get the name of the executive editor, the managing editor, you get their vision. And to me, looking at this website, this organization, vaccinereaction.org, yes, they're scientists, yes, they're doctors, but the whole purpose of this website has a hint of anti-vaccination bias to it. These are people, Barbara Loe Fisher, who I looked up right here. She has been dedicating her life to anti-vaccine measures for almost about 20 years now. And I read a little bit more about her. I read a little bit more about the website. And what I kind of concluded at the end is that this article, although not false, although not misleading, this is not fake news here. These are people that are genuinely doing research and genuinely presenting that research in a way that they feel is not super biased. But through my research, I've determined that this website, this article, has some good information, some good research, some good data. But it's going to tend to come from a highly biased viewpoint, biased against vaccines and their role in our society. And that doesn't make me discredit this website, but I went back and read it a little bit more carefully. And I decided that a couple of their claims were not supported with any evidence. And I even read this. I think that what they're telling us here might be a little false in that they're claiming the vaccine won't slow the spread. But I think it's actually implied in some of the research and data that if you do get the vaccine, it will, in fact, slow the spread. It took a close, careful reading for me to come up with my own conclusions. I like part of what this says. If I wanted to use this as a resource, if I were writing a paper, I certainly could. I do think that it is credible enough in that sense. But also, there are some aspects where I want to pay attention to the bias of the authors and be careful what evidence or what ideas I might pull from this website. To wrap things up, I did carry on this conclusion with Kim, and I said, hey, I see what you're doing there. I like your ideas. I don't think they're quite founded. And in the end of this conversation, she came around to see things a little bit more in my way, a little bit more open-minded to taking the vaccine whenever it might become available for us teachers. I hope you found this useful. Read your sources carefully. If you're not sure if it's credible, do a little research. Look up the organization, look up the newspaper, look up your website, look up the author. What else have they written? What is their history? What is the context? Figure out the bias. Be a critical thinker. Be a critical reader. And most of all, come up with your own educated opinions on whatever topic you're researching. Good luck, young scholars. I'll talk to you soon.